Okay, so since
Okay,
there's
yeah.
no okay, go
The
on.
I just have like one or two questions actually. Evening, boss. Evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
So I don't know. I think the last report you sent, there is still the voting included. Should we leave it like that, or we are going to have to take that out? Because I think the Capstone project has only the sock shop.
Okay, so for
I think.
the capstone project, that's going to be um there will be a new repository, right? So you don't need to make any changes to anything. There will be a new repository that will be provided that will definitely remove the voting app from it.
Okay, you're going to send yet another repo.
Yeah,
All right. No problem then.
yeah,
I think we'll wait for that then. Okay, I also noticed something that I wanted to ask. I think some services or some applications, I don't really know. What I feel is that we have Terraform files and we also have YAML files.
yeah. So I'll basically explain that, right? So let's basically, is that all your questions? Let's quickly dive into the
Yeah, yeah,
details.
that's what I noticed that I wanted to ask.
Okay, okay, great. So are there any other questions or that's all? Okay, so since there are no other questions, we are going to start today's class. So first thing first, if you go to our Sock Shop application here, we can basically see everything listed here. So today we are going to be deploying the EKS cluster, and like I explained in our last class, okay, um, so like I explained in our last class, I explained every single thing about this file, but now I'm going to explain it while we actually run it or how you are supposed to run it. Yeah. So first off, you have to come over to your AWS and you need to basically go to the EC2 section to create an instance in the EC2 section. Um, So you can create this instance either using DigitalOcean or any cloud provider of your choice. I get what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. Are you getting me? But some people want to ask, okay, is it fine if I use my laptop? Using the laptop is actually okay. I get what I'm saying. But the problem with laptops is the how the whole Terraform runs, because we are going to be deploying a whole lot of things, and how it runs basically depends on your laptop speed and your internet speed. I get what I'm saying. And if you are somebody that doesn't want to waste time, then using this method will be something that will actually save a lot of time. So going to creating the instance, we're going to call this instance Terraform. Okay. So select Ubuntu and we select our keep here. Now, okay, so not here, but we'll select this keep here. When we scroll down again, select security group, and we're going to select public. Yeah, and make sure auto assign is also enabled. And when we scroll down, we can now launch this instance.
Sorry, boss. The security group you just picked, is it? Do you have it created before?
Yeah,
Is the default
I
as
have it created before. So if you scroll down here, you can basically see the security groups here in the networks and security. So when we open the network and security, I selected the security group that had the name public. And if you open the public security group, you can see all the inbound rules that are attached to it. You can see HTTP, all traffic, SSH, and HTTPS rather, and yeah, which is port 443, port 80, port 22, and we have all traffic, and each and every one of them are they are all opened on IPv4, as you can see here. And if you go to the outbound rule, you can see that we have all traffic open twice, but opened on IPv4 and IPv6. So that's exactly how you're supposed to create your public security group. So you just automatically attach it. Creating the security group while creating the instance, you might run into some challenges while doing that, because sometimes when you do it, you might not basically get you might still get an error when you try to log into the security group. So it's better you just create the security group and try to log in. Yeah, yeah, you can unmute your mic, please.
Good day. I did this thing exactly the way you explained it just now, creating the security group. Yet I was getting that error. I don't know why.
Okay, so your security group has all the whole inbound rules that are here.
It's not port 8443 and 22.
Yeah, and all traffic too.
Yeah, I did all of them. I don't know why I was still having the same.
Sorry, boss. Are you sorry, Mr. Wade? Are you trying to use your SSH key, or you are connecting through the via
The instance connect itself. It
the
wasn't
dashboard?
working.
Okay, that's surprising, because I was thinking maybe if you are using your SSH key, you should also. Did you change the what do you call it? The like the mode of the SSH
Okay,
key, like make
No, no,
it.
no. I did not use SSH key because I did not see any need. Just normal
Okay,
instance connect wasn't
okay,
working.
okay. Instance connect.
Yeah.
That's surprising. That's surprising.
Mentor, can you please start from creating all those things so that it will be the avoid this confusion?
you
We
said
can
what?
follow up. Can you start with creating these things afresh so that we can see them and then to avoid these confusions we're having? Some
You
of us
said
Because
like
the instance of the security group, which one?
both from instance from the VPC and down to security group and the internet gateway. And all that.
Okay,
because that's why I've not been able to test
we haven't
the.
actually done anything. We haven't run anything yet. We just created an instance. That's all. So we are
Okay.
still looking into everything.
All right.
Yeah. So the instance is currently running. So the next thing you need to do is basically check out your IAM user. You need to create an IAM user for Terraform to be able to access your AWS account, and also for AWS CLI. And you need to go to IAM identity and access management and scroll down to where you have users. Here you can currently I have like a Terraform user that I have already, so but I'm going to create another one just for the purpose of this um call. And we have the username. You can give the username, you can call the username anything. We can call this we can call this Capstone, and we can also give it access to the AWS management console, but we're not going to be doing that. So we can do next and attach policies directly. And if you scroll down, we're going to be selecting the administrator access. So we just click on this and scroll down to the end and next. So we can now create the user. So now that our user is created, we can open the user and scroll down to our security credentials section, and scroll down. Also we have our access key present here. We're going to click on the create access key. We're going to select local code, and we're going to tick this box here and next. So create access key. Now we have our access key created for us. So now next thing you want to do is to download the access key, because if you leave this point, you won't be able to see the secret access key again. So now we have that set. Let's shift that to the other side, and now we see our Terraform. Our Terraform is running, and now we want to log into this instance, so we can connect to the instance. Scroll down and click on connect. Okay, so we have our instance. Yeah, yeah, you can unmute your mic, please.
Hi, good day. I get in the class late. Is the second code that you posted we're going through here, or the same first one?
We are basically looking at the EKS cluster. That's what we want to try to deploy now.
Oh, but using the code, the second set of code that you posted first.
Is it the installer.sh?
I didn't hear you.
I said, is it the installer.sh?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so when we come back here, we can basically see everything is working perfectly well. So we need to just clear this out. And next thing we need to do is we need to do a git clone. Then we copy the code for this, and we come back to our and we paste that here. And we're also going to change this name to Capstone, so it's a little bit shorter. So ls we seed into Capstone. So we clear this, and ls we can see everything present here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to chmod for the installer .sh, and we need to run the installer.sh. Okay, so it's currently running now. And when you come back to this section in the EK section, sorry, please, can you mute your mic if you are not asking a question or anything? Thank you. So if you come back to this section, to the EK section, and we scroll down a little bit, you can basically see down here in the node group, we stated a key pair here. And please note that the key pair that you're stating here has to be created on your Amazon account already. Please note that the key pair that you're stating here has to be already on your Amazon account, right? So if not, you're going to get an error. Are you get what I'm saying? It needs to be on your Amazon account already. So if you scroll down, you can basically see that key pair present here. This is the key pair created here. So you need to make sure that that key pair is currently on your account. Yeah, so with that said, let's wait for the script to finish running. So whatever just pops up, just press enter. So now it's installing the AWS CLI. Okay.
Sorry, but are you still sharing your screen?
Yeah, yeah. Can you guys see my screen? Or my screen is no longer sharing? Let me know.
Yes, we can see it, sir.
Okay, so please check from your end, please. So enter. Okay, so it's currently installing Jenkins.
Good evening, mentor.
Yeah, good evening.
Please, can we just have a short brief of the beginning for some of us that missed the beginning?
Okay, the class is being recorded, right? But just to go back to the beginning, you basically create like an EK an instance, an EC2 instance, and you clone the repository to the instance. After cloning the repository, you basically run the script that's the install.sh. You make it executable and you run it. So yeah, that's all I've done so far. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah, so at the bottom here we can see end. So this is basically where some people might have some issues. When it shows end here, basically what it's telling you is like it has finished installing Jenkins. What you need to do now is you need to just type in Control C. That's the only thing, and type it just once. So Control C, and now it's asking you that proceed with operation. Type in Y. Don't type any other letter. Just type in Y and click enter. So now we are basically done. We can clear this screen, and ls, if we do AWS configure, yeah, so it's asking us for our access key. If we come back to where we created our access key, we can copy our access key from here and paste it here. Come back here and copy our secret access key. And our region is EU West 2, and the format, like I've said, JSON. And now we have this connected. So if you can clear this out, ls. Now, next thing we need to do is we need to cd into EKS. So we have Terraform installed already. All we need to just do after we cd into EKS is to do like a Terraform init to initialize this directory. Okay, so now that our directory is initialized, we can do like a Terraform apply dash auto, then dash approve. Okay, so it's basically showing us everything that is supposed to be created. And yeah, it has started created the roles and policies first, and currently creating everything we need in the VPC, the elastic IP, the subnets, the route tables, and every other thing like that. So on a normal day, this is supposed to take you about 13 minutes or so. Okay, so if you go to our EKS cluster section, okay, so we can see the EKS cluster currently creating. Yeah, and like if we come back to our GitHub and we go to where we did the VPC autovars or Terraform, yeah, to the Terraform.tf. Now you can see that the environment is dev. If you come to the cluster, we can see dev present here, and also we can see the business division, which is HR, which is also added to the name, and we can also see the EKS demo that we actually call the EKS cluster. So if we go to where we created the EKS cluster, which is okay, so this is it. Okay, so we actually created like a TF for it. So if you see the EKS cluster, the EKS cluster name is EKS dash demo, as you can see here, EKS dash demo. So yeah, that's settled. So if you have any questions, you can drop them now. Yeah. Okay, so it's showing active, but yeah, so it's now creating the node group. Okay, so while this is still loading, let's basically look at the Kubernetes section. So the first thing we're going to look at here is the microservice. So if I extend the microservice, this is the cat.tf. I get what I'm saying. So this is where you see the Kubernetes deployment and also the Kubernetes service for the cat, right? And the cat also has like a database. It uses a MongoDB database, and yeah, it also have like a service too. So that is open on port 27017, and so that's just basically it. You can go through this, yeah, and yeah, we're also creating a namespace, yeah. Kubernetes namespace dot cube dot dash namespace dot id. So if you come down here to our we should be able to see our provider or something. Okay, so micro provider.tf, we should be able to see our namespaces that we created here. So these are our Kubernetes namespace, then the kube namespace, then the metadata. So what's the name of our namespace? The name of our namespace is sock-shop. This is the namespace we're going to be deploying every single thing here into. This is the namespace we're going to sock-shop is where we're going to deploy everything into. And here you can see all the providers that we're going to be using. We're going to basically be pulling the cluster, right, that we created. We're going to be pulling that right into like our providers file. And another thing is when you're changing the name of the maybe for those of you that might want to change the name of the EKS cluster that you created, whatever name you create or whatever name you give your EKS cluster, please always state it here. Anywhere you see the default name that is normally there, which is this hr-dev-EKS-demo, just replace it with your current name that you want to use. I get what I'm saying. So now we're pulling the EKS cluster. We're also pulling the cluster authentication, and here we're also calling the provider Kubernetes provider, and we're calling the version. We're using a config path, which is the config path to our cube, right? So when we basically run our, what's it called, when we run the command for us to log into our Kubernetes to our EKS cluster, we'll create, by default we'll create like a kube config file, right? That will be in this part. So we are basically like calling that part in our kube config part so that our Kubernetes Terraform um, can basically access it. I get what I'm saying. So yeah, that's basically all you need to know for this section. And when we go to the catalog, so yeah, the what's it called? The sock shop application is it has basically 8 or 9 different sections that basically some of them communicate together. So for the front end is just the front, right? Like the name, the front end is basically has like is where you can access every other service that is basically connected to it. So yeah, so the front end is basically open on the port 80 and target port 8070, and the front end is not going to be using the load balancer type. We are going to be using like an ingress rule, not a load balancer. So an ingress rule is where you have to create your own domain name, and we're going to create like subdomains for that particular domain name. All right, so yeah, everything here is just basically everything that is on the Sockshop application website, but it's just that it has been converted into Terraform. That's just the only difference. And yeah, you can basically go through everything. You have the orders or TF. This is where you see you can see the replicas, which is one replica, and you can see the match label name. You can see the labels, orders. You can see the container itself, right? This is the container itself. You can basically see the environment variables that we will need to connect to this particular container for it to work. And yeah, if we scroll down, we should also see the service. Yeah, the service is open on port 80, and the other also has like a database, and the database is also MongoDB. I get what I'm saying. The database is also MongoDB, and that's the name of the image, Mongo. And if we keep scrolling down and keep scrolling down, we should see the service for the database that we're going to be creating for our other service. So if we come back to our EC2, you can see everything has been created, and you can see all the outputs that are needed to be generated after it has finished creating. So you can see the cluster endpoint, you can see the cluster IAM row, you can also see the public subnet, right? The subnet ID, you can see the VPC CIDR block, you can see a whole lot of things here. So yeah, this is also very, very helpful. So now, next thing we need to do is, now that we know that our cluster is already running, we need to run a command so that we can connect to our cluster. Yeah. So, does anybody have any questions so far with everything I've explained, or is there something you don't understand before we move to the next phase?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, going through the folders and stuff, I actually wanted to ask. There is one point where you use there is a field you use owners, and you put like I think it's while defining the instance there is owners.
Yes.
Owners is it the same as AMI?
Okay, so what is the owners is like, so when you create like an image, I get what I'm saying. Every
Yeah.
single image that is out there on Amazon has like a an ID. I get what I'm saying. So that ID is a number depending on the actual owner. So for Ubuntu, Ubuntu has its own, like the people that create Ubuntu, they have their own ID. So when you state owners there, you need to state that ID that basically tells Terraform that okay, this is the people that actually own Ubuntu that we want to pull this Terraform this Ubuntu machine from. I get what I'm saying. So basically, when we come back here and go to the EKS part, and we go to the node group. Okay, so it was in the AMI data source. Yeah, so you can see the owners here. So if you scroll down a little bit now, you can see that, for instance, again, here again, you can see the owners. So here we were basically calling the, what's it called, Amazon Linux, and Amazon Linux basically belongs to Amazon. So when we state the owners, it basically states out Amazon, because there are a lot of people that will create different images on Amazon Linux. I get what I'm saying. If you just pull any kind of like Amazon Linux image, you might pull nonsense. So it's very good for you to state the owner. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Um, okay, that means for that particular Amazon product, the number there is for the owners, so you can use that.
Yeah, so for these owners now, you can see that it's actually Amazon name that's present here. So yeah, it's like a, we like say a universal kind of thing. It's not like specific to your region or whatever.
All right. Okay, sorry. Another thing I wanted to ask is there is a field under you call it exclude names. There is a field exclude names. I think it's under availability zones.
Is that
Under data, there is under data availability zones when you are using the data resource for the availability zones, you use the field exclude names.
okay? So sorry, where is that again?
I
Can
think it's in
you?
the data resource of availability zones. I think that should be in the EKS folder. I think it's in the EKS folder under data resource for availability zones. You use the field exclude names.
Okay, yeah. So we want to exclude like certain names. We don't want to pull all what's it called? All availability zone. I get what I'm saying. So we want to exclude this specific name, EU dash West 2 dash AIH dash 1E. I get what I'm saying. So we want to exclude these names. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you understand? and we want to pull every other
Yeah.
name that is currently on AWS.
But it's sorry, just to ask for, I think for learning purpose, is there any particular reason why you are excluding that zone?
The zone is being excluded, maybe
Okay.
because we basically want like specific zones while we're creating the
Yeah,
VPC,
where we want to deploy.
and we don't want like to pull everything. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I get. Sorry. Lastly, on that, for instance, if I think that is for EUS two,
Yeah.
what if, because all of us we are definitely not going to use EUS two, we might be deploying on other regions. For instance, let's say you are deploying on maybe EU Central one, for instance.
Okay. So if you are deploying on EU Central One, what I would advise you to do is just remove this, exclude names, whatever, and basically pull everything. Right. If you get an error, you try to resolve it.
All right. All right. Then. Thanks very much.
Just to be sure, let's check if this is even actually a region. Yes, it's one. Okay, so it seems like it's like default for every other what's it called? So it seems like it's default. So all you just need to do is just change this front name, yeah, and leave everything behind it the same. Yeah. So when we go back to our cluster, we can basically clear this out, and we can run a command that basically connects us to our cluster, which is AWS EKS, the dash dash region, which is EU dash west 2, and update dash cube config. Then we have a dash dash name, which in this case we will need to copy our cluster name, which is this, and paste it. So before you do this, you need to make sure you are connected to AWS CLI. So you should be connected to AWS CLI because you won't be able to run Terraform if you don't do that. Okay, so now this is showing added new content, blah 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 blah, and we can do like a kubectl. So kubectl is automatically installed when we run the script. Kubectl gets nodes, and you can see the two nodes that are currently running on the EKS machine, right? You can see the two nodes that are currently running on the EKS machine, and if we do like a kubectl get SVC, we can see the Kubernetes cluster IP SVC that is here. We can do a kubectl get what else? Deployment. So SVC is basically service. It's like a short form of service. Okay, so there are no deployments found in this namespace. So this is where namespace comes to play. So what is a namespace? If I do kubectl get ns, which stands for namespace, you can see different namespaces. I get what I'm saying. So in each namespace, there are basically like you can create a namespace and run a particular Kubernetes manifest there. I get one, just like what we're going to be doing for the what's it called? What we're going to be doing for this the microservice. Yeah, this is what we're going to be doing for the microservice. So we'll just log in and run the okay. Where is the microservice safe? So we scroll down, you can see the microservice, and yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for the microservice. We will create a new namespace. So that's what we're going to be doing now. So if you cd dot dot and do ls and cd into Kubernetes, so we can cd into the microservice. services, ls, and we can do like a Terraform init. So you can see how fast it is while it's initializing. So if you were using like a normal slow computer to run all this, you would like waste a lot of time in just this initializing phase. So next thing we need to do is okay, so we have 15 minutes on this call. So we'll soon be done. So next thing we need to do is we need to do like a Terraform apply dash auto dash approve. Okay, so basically it is going to be creating everything for us, right? And make sure you are connected to your EKS cluster before running this the Sockshop application. Make sure you are connected to your EKS cluster. If you are not connected to your EKS cluster, you get an error.
Hello, mentor.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, can we run all this on our local machine? Let's say we don't.
Yeah. So like I've explained over and over again, if you run it on your local machine, then you are basically taking the, will I say, disadvantage of time, right? So if you run the local machine, you will have to spend more time depending on how slow or how fast your local machine is. Do you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
sorry, like for instance now, before now, I cd into the EKS directory and I ran Terraform plan and Terraform apply. It
Okay.
created all the clusters and even the EKS for me on my AWS because already I have an IAM role on my local machine created
Okay.
and I did the AWS config. So that was where I stopped, like I told you 2 days ago.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you can actually continue running everything on your local machine. Since the EKS, it was able to carry the EKS, then sure.
Okay, that means immediately it created the EKS on my local machine. So to now move to the other stages where I was stuck.
Okay, what other stage is that? Is it the Kubernetes section?
Yes, yes.
Okay, we're actually looking at the, what's it called? The Sockshop application.
That means if one want to try the local machine, you just need to cd into the Kubernetes section, then run Terraform in it, then apply also.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, okay, okay. Hello, mentor.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, it seems I now understand. The Terraform instance you created from the beginning was
Yeah,
meant to run all these
exactly.
codes,
Yeah.
just like the way I was running it on my Ubuntu server.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, 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 okay.
Okay, so now we have like everything has been created. So if you do a kubectl get ns, which stands for name servers, we can now see the sock shop name server present here. Previously it wasn't there. Now we can see it present here. It was just created 3 minutes 59 seconds 58 seconds ago. And what we can do now is we can now do like a kubectl get let's say svc, right? Then dash n. You need to if you just type in kubectl get svc, you will just get the normal default Kubernetes cluster IP. So we have to do like a kubectl get svc then dash n, and we need to state the name of the cluster that we deployed everything in, right? Or the name server, sorry, or the name space rather, where we deployed everything. And the namespace we deployed everything is the sock shop. So if you type in sock, then a dash and shop, then enter, we can see every single thing created. We can see the cat DB, the other cat DB. You can see the catalog. You can see the catalog DB. You can see the front end, the other DB, the payments, the queue master, the rabbit MQ, the shipping, the user, and the user DB. I get what I'm saying. So we can see all this. But now there's just one service here that basically helps us connect to every single thing. I get what I'm saying. And that is the front end service. This service here. It helps us connect to everything. Let's see how many minutes do we have? We have 9 minutes left. So coming back here, like I said, the front end service helps us connect to everything. So if you want to basically just see the stock shop application using a load balancer, what you can do is you can do kubectl edit svc, right? Then dash n, then the name of the namespace. Okay, so we can just pick the name of the svc, which is front end. There's a front, then dash, then end, then the namespace, which is sock shop. Okay, so we didn't write this well. So it basically opens the file for us where we can make a change to this. Okay, so let's exit out of this place first, because so let's try running it again. Okay, so and we can scroll down. Okay, so I don't know exactly why it is hanging. So let's clear this out first. Okay, so if we try to scroll down, hopefully it doesn't hang again. Okay, so basically still the same thing. So we just have to skip this part. WQ. Yeah, so basically we have launched everything. Everything is currently running, and we can do like a kubectl get deployment dash n sock shop. Okay, ctl. Okay, so we can basically see everything again here running, right? So that's going to be all for today's class. If you have any question, you can ask your question right now. So while I
Tech,
delete all this,
Hello,
yes, sir.
mentor. Hello, mentor.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a different question. Sorry, if I trying to practice and I was trying to create my Jenkins page, but I've gotten to the stage where when I input my public IP, and let's listen to 8080. It opened the Jenkins page. I also did the cutting of the password of
Okay.
the Jenkins, and I got a password. But while I was trying to paste my password inside the Jenkins page to enter into the Jenkins, it's
Okay.
giving error. What could be the cause?
Um, because you are not using, I'm guessing because you're not using a domain name, which normally you're supposed to get errors like that. Are you getting what I'm saying? You're supposed to get errors like that. But when we get into Jenkins, we should be able to like I should be able to show you a way to actually stop it when you actually log in. Because even when you like finally log into the page, you'll be having like certain issues while trying to like run the Jenkins pipeline and all of those kind of thing. Yeah, you can ask a question
Okay.
again.
Sorry, this is different from. It's an abstract question. I wanted to ask. Aside creating a security group when you're creating an instance, you need to create anything else because
Okay,
I've
so
I'm, I've been
just
having problems creating an instance for days.
do you have a VPC?
No, no, no.
You don't have a VPC.
Yeah. Do I need must I create a VPC as I create a security group as
Oh,
well?
you don't have a default VPC on your AWS.
I do. I have a default one. I have a default one.
Did you attach it to the Morse code?
Yes, I did.
Okay, try creating another VPC. Right? Create another VPC, create the subnet, public subnet, and also create the what's it called, the security group.
Okay.
Yeah, and
All
try
right.
it out.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, so we are done with this. CD into the EKS, and we can do like a Terraform. Yeah, so we are basically deleting the EKS cluster. So is there any other question? You just have 4 minutes to go on the call.
Hello, sorry, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
This is just testing out everything manually without before deploying using Jenkins, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to test out everything before you can use Jenkins.
All right, no problem.
Yeah. So in our next class, we'll basically be looking at the orders, which is the ingress rule and the nginx controller with Prometheus. Yeah. So we'll be looking at that in our next class. And please, if you do not have a domain name, get a domain name. Yeah. That will be really helpful. Okay, so this call ends in 2 minutes. If you have any other question, you can send it to the group, and yeah, I'll definitely reply to your question. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this call. Good night. See you guys in our next class. If you have any questions, like I've said before, you can drop it in the group, and yeah, I'll definitely reply to you guys.